Have you actually tried letting him do something? Or have you been so busy protecting him, feeling sorry for him, that you accidentally took away his role in the household? What have you stopped asking him to do since the stroke? Nobody told you how to live a good life when your loved one has aphasia. You can. This is life beyond aphasia. You do the laundry, you make the meals, you manage the medications, you schedule the appointments, you handle the finances, you take out the trash, you feed the dog, you do all of it. And he sits in a chair. And somewhere along the way, you believe that this is just how it's going to be now. Because aphasia took everything from him and that he needs to be protected from the hard stuff. That doing all of this is what love is. These were the vows you signed up for. But here's what I want to ask you. Have you actually tried letting him do something? Or have you been so busy protecting him, feeling sorry for him, that you accidentally took away his role in the household? What have you stopped asking him to do since the stroke? Let's think about the things he used to handle. Maybe he can't go out and do all the yard work, but maybe there are certain things he can do to contribute. What are the things he probably could still do, maybe just differently or with supports? What are the things that might take longer if he did them, but they could still get done? Or the things that would give him back a sense of purpose? Or the things that could take something off your plate? Can you think of 3 right now? And maybe don't think of this as the roles that you used to have. Often couples have the man does the outside and the woman does the inside. It doesn't have to be that way. Maybe you can find a balance and redefine these roles. So why do spouses overfunction for their people who have aphasia? I've heard it said, it's faster if I do it myself. You don't want him to get frustrated. You're protecting him because he might fail or might struggle too much. You feel guilty asking him because, after all, he is struggling with his aphasia and his life is all upside down. Or it's just become automatic. You take care of it because you just think it's better to get it done. You don't have the energy to explain it or to ask or to support. So what could he actually contribute, even if it does look different now? So we're going to get concrete on this. If he's able to walk around, maybe he only has one arm that's working well. The other arm could be a support. Every person who has aphasia can have a different kind of physical limitation that comes along with it. Look at your person objectively. Stand back and really see him. Could he possibly sort the laundry? Could he fold the laundry? Could he move the clothes from the washer to the dryer? What about dishes? Could he rinse dishes, put them in the dishwasher? What about putting dishes away? What if you move the plates and the bowls and the cups that you use every day to a lower cabinet so that he could stay seated in his wheelchair and still put those things away for you? Something that is predictable, reduces the mental cognitive load, but he's still participating, and it's one less thing you need to think about. What about these things? What about things outside? Do you see where I'm going with this? He can still contribute and be a part of this. You are not the only adult in the house. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it does need to be his. His recovery is his work. I'll bet you never thought that once since he came home from the hospital, because you feel the responsibility. And that is often what happens with spouses when you're supporting a person who has aphasia. But really, your role has to be the support person. You have to give them the space and the opportunity to struggle, because in the struggle is the progress. You might have to do more things to support early on, but as they learn and practice and have success, all of that builds on each other. But when the system hands you that packet and appointments and says, here you go, figure it out, that total responsibility did not come with a roadmap. It did not set you up for success so that you can manage your day-to-day plus take on his roles and responsibilities. And that belief is what turns a wife into a full-time caregiver. But inside our Care Partner Collective, we start first with step 0, which is the grief work. So many female care partners take on these responsibilities and they don't stop. Why don't they stop? Because they feel if they stop, they're going to break down. And if they break down, they're afraid they're not going to be able to get through it, to get back to it. So they avoid that grief. But understanding this underlying feeling of anxiousness, of grieving the life you had before because everything changed in a few hours. This is what we talk about in this step. Grief, your identity, and also how to get to readiness, how to get to a place where you can start asking him to do more things, knowing how to support him so he can support you both in the household by taking on tasks and responsibilities. You might think this is trivial, but it's not. It is life, isn't it? Didn't you start from a young child growing up thinking, oh, I can hardly wait till I can drive. Oh, now I can vote. Oh, now I can drink. Oh, now I'm old enough to get married. We all have these goals. Often the stroke and aphasia take away those priorities, those milestones, those things to reach for. But it all starts with understanding what is underlying all of it. That's the grief, identity, and readiness. And we have this step specifically inside our Care Partner Collective because it is the foundation for everything moving forward. Because when Mary goes from appointment manager to medication supervisor without anybody asking, Mary, how are you doing? How are you handling all of this? The work of the grief has to come first. What does it actually look like when he has a role? I want you to picture a typical Tuesday evening. He's fed the dog at 5 o'clock because that's his job now. He does that before you both sit down to have your dinner. He's done something that took it off your plate. Now you're sitting together. How would that feel to you? And you might have never thought of it. You might have realized that you have been functioning on automatic pilot all of this time, and you never stopped to think about what it would be like to actually sit down, have a meal, connect with your husband, no matter the level of aphasia. If he can take care of the dog while you do the food, that is connection. That is him contributing. That is him building his confidence. And he might think it's no big deal, but you can be the one to hold that for him. He did something, you let him, and for about 30 seconds, neither one of you is the caregiver patient. You are back to being spouses. And that's what his role gives him again. But you have to start somewhere. So start with these little daily tasks. Your question for the week. What is one task he could start taking on now? What could he do with his current level of physical capability and his current level of aphasia? I want you to come up with a couple of ideas and decide which one you're going to focus on. Something small, something manageable. What would it feel like for him to know that he's doing that? You were not meant to do all of this alone, and neither was he. The people who show up and make this harder, your mother-in-law, the neighbor, the friend who imposes her time on you and exhausts you further. These situations happen Or maybe it's even the therapist that comes to the house that is insisting for the third time to come during his rest time. You know that if you let her, it's going to mess him up for the rest of the day because he will not have had that time to recharge. But you also feel guilty saying no to her because you know how important that rehab is for him. You need to know what to say in these moments. So we created a tool for you. It's called Before You Answer, before the telephone rings. It's all about setting you up for success with scripts that work in a variety of situations. You practice saying them out loud. You take the ones that you like, you get rid of the rest, but you make them your own. Aphasia shifted everything, but aphasia doesn't have to take you, your identity, nor your marriage. There is a roadmap getting back to his life. There is a roadmap back to being his wife, and it exists. Rehab ends. Life doesn't. Rebuild communication, rebuild connection, rebuild life. This is life beyond aphasia.